Welcome to episode 225 of the Watching Podcast. On today's show, Donnell gets back in the game. On Robert's continued anime adventure, rooting for the bad guy. And on this week's episode of Snowpiercer, Wilford goes out in a blaze of glory. Some news and more. I'm your host, Robert, and with me is Donnell. I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead either. Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions. I was like, what's the odds you think he's actually dead?
Yeah, he should have double tapped that body.
Oh, yeah.
After.
Oh, yeah. I was like, all right, he had his last smoke.
I mean,
put a bullet in his head.
I know you don't want to waste bullets because they're not making them anymore, but come on.
Yeah, he's worth one. He's definitely worth a bullet. I am more than willing. In a world of limited bullets, Wilford is definitely worth a bullet. I would do it. I'd be like, yep, no, not doing it.
I mean, this dude's died like 3 times.
Yeah, he keeps coming back. He always is planning and scheming. I'm like, what's I mean, he even said that this is from Dr. Headwood. You know, I'm just like, oh, so he gave you a knockout cigarette that puts you out, makes you seem like you're dead.
Exactly.
And then you wake up and you take over the train and everybody's like, what?
So what game you back into, Donnell?
So I am not back in the game. I started watching a series on Peacock. It's called Mr.Throwback.
Mr. Throwback.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is about, I don't know where you are when it comes to sports, but there's a professional basketball player.
0.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'll
you might
put myself
know some.
out of a 1 to 10.
Like if I said
I'll put
Michael
myself at
Jordan,
a
you
1.
know who he is.
I do know who Michael
And so I don't
Jordan
know
is.
about current day. So I think, but there's a
Noted
professional
baseball player.
Michael Jordan. yes. But anyways, there's a professional basketball player named Steph Curry.
Okay,
and
I've heard that name before.
Yeah,
I don't know what team he plays for.
He's one of the. I mean, he's probably the second biggest player right now, behind LeBron James. And so the show is essentially about him getting back in touch. So that basically, when he was a kid. You know, it's about, it's not about him as a kid, but when he was a kid playing basketball, because of course, for playing professional basketball, you've been playing all your life. He had a teammate who was like, they were the like number 1 and 2 guys on their team. And then, you know, he goes on to become
That would be me going into the locker room being like, hello, fellow co-players.
Yes.
Like,
so they're number 1 and 2 guys on the team, but, you know, they grew apart. And so Steph Curry goes on to be, you know, arguably the second best basketball player in the world right now. And his co-teammate becomes just a basic slub. Like, I called him a co-teammate again. What is going on?
What's the character from Invincible? The alien guy?
That's
his
That's
line.
him. That's him.
He was like,
Hello,
I would like to run in a
co-teammates.
stationary position, co-players. It's like,
and so basically it's about them basically getting in touch together. Like I said, Steph Curry's this world-renowned basketball player, and he's just a dude living in the same hometown. But it's about Steph Curry wants to help him, you know, become somebody and realize his dreams. And so it's just like
this sounds very awkward.
It's just a little comedy. It's you know, there's a subplot.
What's the guy's dream? Obviously not to be a professional basketball player.
I mean, really just to get out of being like, he's just literally living the most generic nothing life.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
And yeah, what some people, you know, feel like that's not enough. And especially when you're watching your best friend, you know, win world championships and go to the Olympics.
Are they best friends?
Yeah, they wore best friends.
Okay,
like they grew up together, they were best friends, they were teammates and all that stuff. And yeah, so Steph is coming back to help them. But anyways, that's not the reason why I want to talk about this. So the reason I want to talk about this show is it makes me just realize how much things have changed when it comes to television and movies. Because like I said, Steph Curry is currently one of the biggest basketball players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the when we were growing up and stuff, we didn't have crossovers like this. Professional sport, Space Jam was a huge deal because they got Michael Jordan to star in a movie, and it was like, you know, getting sports stars to star in movies was a huge deal because, like, yeah, these guys are way too busy, have way too many times. Where now on this show, The Throwback, Steph Curry has a producer credit, but like now I was like, yeah, all you can do is, you know, I mean, of course you're paying them, but you give people producers credit, and like you can just like I know I've talked about it before, but just the way things have changed so much. Because for the longest time, you had your movie stars, you had your TV stars. Never did the two meet. You know, like movie stars are movie stars. They're not going to show the TV show. And what?
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, true.
Big football star. Had a movie career.
But he kind of transitioned to movies after his sports, like not while he was in and stuff. But now it's like, yeah, this the fame level has just blended where like now you can see a TV show that has episodic things coming on with a sports star in it, or like you said, you have people who are huge movie stars just being in normal TV shows and stuff, and it's just like that was not how it was when we were growing up, and it just for me it just doesn't make me like things have just really changed, and I can't really figure out when the tipping point was. I mean, part of me feels like MCU, but part of me feels like it started before the MCU.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to look at like. I mean,
it
probably goes.
Snowpiercer, for crying out
loud. Wait, well, what is? But she's not like.
She's
not like another thing.
Yeah,
right?
She was a TV star, really. Yeah.
But like, I mean, you got to think. I mean, now, like, you think Beyonce, right? It's like, okay, well, you can't just be one thing anymore. You can't just be a singer. Now you got to have your clothing line and your makeup line and all that.
Yeah.
And, maybe does she have a movie career? Does Beyonce be in movies?
No, I mean she's been in movies, but not like it's more of like the guest star sort of thing. You're like, hey, it's Beyonce.
I mean, look, this isn't like I don't know where like the sports blend comes in. That's probably relatively new. But you go back and like Madonna, she's done like 20 movies, even starting back in the 80s during the heyday of her career. Even Michael Jackson was in a couple of movies.
But
they were about Michael Jackson.
Yeah. It wasn't Michael Jackson in a movie. It was a movie for Michael Jackson.
Yeah. He played Michael Jackson in the movie.
Yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, it wasn't like Madonna playing like Evita or whatever. And like actually doing something. I don't know. Sports. Yeah, maybe it's got to be Jordan, right?
Yeah, I think
because he did the shoe deal.
Yep.
Which was huge, and that was the biggest shoe deal of all time.
Yep.
But though there were there were sponsorships before, but then he went and did Space Jam. But I don't really know. Anybody who like actively did a movie. I mean, he didn't have like a movie career.
He didn't have a movie career.
He just did a movie.
Yeah. Same with Shaq and Shazam. Shaq tried to have a little bit of a movie career. I think wrestlers actually, when it comes to sports, were the real big star. Because wrestlers were the first ones to really like.
Well, you're basically already in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Real quick, talk about Michael Jordan because I was talking with Mike about this. Do you know? So first off, actually,
friend of the show, Mike.
Yep. I think you already know the answer to this, but we'll see. Do you know where Michael Jordan made the most of his money?
Gambling. No, I don't know.
From
probably stock in whatever you call it, Nike.
Yeah, basically his Nike deal is like everyone.
I read somewhere that his contract, he gets more each year from Nike than all the employees of Nike combined, except for like the CEO.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Like, I surely wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so his second most, and this is like, oh, where do you think most of his money comes from? Like, oh, maybe he does some real estate, maybe from his exporting career. But no, his second most is the thing is, so everyone always talks about the big Nike deal, but he also has a big, and I'm not sure if you ever saw, they don't sell as much, but he also had a big deal with Hanes underwear.
I do remember that.
And that's where it's like Nike. That's the thing is what I love is like Michael Jordan, biggest basketball player in the world. Where's his money come from? Shoes and underwear.
He's a billionaire, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Michael Jordan, is he a billionaire?
My phone is still remembering last week because as soon as I put in Michael's like Michael Keaton, it's like, no, we're not talking about Michael Keaton.
Whoa, 3.2 billion.
Woo!
Man, he's doing all right.
That's some money right there.
Barack Obama gave him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had to duck down to get that.
Yeah. So besides Nike and Hanes giving him money, he also owns a NASCAR racing team.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's when you're that rich, I was at.
Well, yeah. There was like a story back maybe in the early aughts that they were like, oh my God, Michael Jordan went to Vegas and lost $500,000 in one night at the roulette wheel. I was like, what is that to him?
Yeah,
that's
what
it takes to feel it.
Yeah,
right. You walk into Vegas and you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
You ain't losing your shirt over $20 at the slot machine. No, you got to lose $1 million.
Yeah.
in one night
to even be like
at a craps table to like be like, okay, that was stung a little.
Yeah,
it's like. Go to sleep, wake up. I made $3 million while I slept.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's roll it back.
So just real quick, at my job, we have like news screens that are at our buildings that just show news. And so one of the stories of the day while I was at one of our buildings was that Taylor Swift, and they say Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I'm like, did they both buy the horse? I mean, I guess you both could. But anyways, they bought a racehorse, and I from what I gained, I didn't look any farther, but I'm just like, I feel like and this is something you can do because you're rich. They bought a racehorse, and I feel like the reason they bought this racehorse is because the racehorse's name was something Swift, like it was like Swift Lightning.
Oh yeah,
and like I feel like they were just bored at home, chilling, and like, hey, to buy a racehorse?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, this one has your last name in it. Okay, we'll buy that racehorse. Like I feel like I just feel like when you're that rich, that's something you could just do. Just we'll buy a horse because it shares your last name. Yeah. Okay, let's buy a horse.
I would imagine they already have horses.
Yeah.
But then they just bought another horse.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the rich live a totally different life than the rest of us.
Crazy.
Anyways, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is looks like just the change in TV and movies and stardom and fame is it's interesting to me. Anyways, Robert, rooting for the bad guy, huh?
Yeah. Before we get to that,
Oh.
we're going to talk about 2 animes today.
Yeah.
The first one is one I watched pretty recently called spyxfamily. Has 2 seasons and a movie out, and there's a 3rd season on the way. I tried watching it the first time, and I think I started on season 2 by mistake, and I was completely lost and gave up. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, okay, I'm getting through my list here of stuff I want to watch, and I came back to it and started on season 1. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. It is very cute and fun. It is about there are 4 members of the family. The main character is a little girl who's I think she's 5, but she pretends that she's 6. She's an orphan, and she's psychic. She can read people's minds.
Okay.
Also animals' minds too, but that's a whole different story. This all kind of takes place in like 1980s-ish London.
Okay.
And there's a lot of like East and West. It's not like Russia versus England kind of thing. It's like they're the West, and then there's the East that they're fighting against.
Yeah.
You know, in kind of a Cold War.
Yeah.
And what kind of the second main character is a super spy, like 007 type character, like deep cover. And they're trying. He's been tasked with a job to try and get close to this high level diplomat. And the way that they've decided they're going to do that is he is going to start a family, a fake family,
as one does.
Get his child into this elite private school, so that way that child can get close to the son of the politician, and they can intermingle the families.
Right.
And pump them for information and all this stuff and whatnot. So, of course, he shows up at an orphanage to get a kid, just like you do.
As you do. You just get a random kid.
And she can read his mind. And she's like, oh, my God, a cool spy guy. And it basically just worms her way into being that.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
It's lots of hilarity ensues. Like, she goes to take the test for this elite school. And she's like, I don't need to study for this test. I'll just pass it like I pass everything else. I'll read the teacher's minds and the other people taking the test minds and ace the test. Gets in there. Everyone doesn't know what's going on. And everybody, everyone's just like, she's reading their minds, and they're just like, we don't know the answers to these questions. And she's like, what am I going to do? It's kind of a weird, convoluted thing, but a mom comes involved. She is the world's greatest assassin. And she needs to fake a husband to get her brother off her case, and all this stuff, and it just kind of all Rube Goldberg's into. They all live together. Second season, a dog comes into play. He can see the future.
Okay,
and she can read his mind, so she can see the future sometimes. Very interesting, but that none of them know that they're psychic or can see the future.
Yeah,
but she can obviously know. The little girl obviously knows that mom's an assassin and dad's a spy, but the dad is hiding it from the mom, and the mom's hiding it from the dad. So, hilarity ensues. Like, one time she gets shot in the butt, but then it's like date night, and she's trying to, like, every time he like comes up with something for her to do, and she's like, I can't do that because I'd have to sit down. But she can't tell him why she can't sit down. And it's really fun. She gets involved in the spy work sometimes and like saves the day. And it's great because she's reading the mind. She'll just be sitting there, and there'll be like internal dialogue with the mom, thinking of like some guy she just brutally killed the other night, and the girl's just sitting on the couch freaking out because she could see it all, but she can't say anything. It's just super fun, kind of wholesome. It's just good. It's just good fun. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's like kid friendly.
Okay.
But it's not like super adult.
Yeah.
It's not like super bloody. Well, sometimes it is super bloody, but anyway, it's just good. It's just fun watching them kind of like hide their situations from each other. And there's like the brother of the assassin girl gets involved, but he's like a member of the secret police, and Yeah, and just a number of other characters that come into play. There's like a kind of like a sidekick to the spy dad who's an interesting character, and then like all the kids at school who are like snooty rich people and whatnot. It's just fun.
Nice.
Yeah, good. There's 2 seasons of it in a movie, like I said, and there's a 3rd season coming, which I'm super excited about.
Nice.
Next, one of the great isekais of all time, Overlord. There are 4 seasons and a movie. That movie just came out. I haven't seen it yet, and there's a 5th season on the way. This is about there are a lot of different isekais. This is a video game isekai.
Okay. Yep.
So there's a MMORPG, but it's one that you like put a harness on, jack into, kind of thing.
Ready Player One style.
But but it is shutting down.
Okay.
Where it starts out on the last day, you've got the head of a big guild in the game, and he has decided to stay online until they shut down the servers. His whole guild is logged out already. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
It hits 0 hour, shut down the servers. He does not leave.
Okay.
He is now there forever.
Yeah.
In the form of a giant skeleton wizard guy. Named Ainz Ul Gon. And all of a sudden, all their like NPC helpers and stuff that they had in this like big labyrinth that they ran are sentient.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And he leans into it hard. He is the bad guy.
Yeah.
He commits genocides.
Oh dang.
He does not mess around. Like somebody breaks into his labyrinth and he will just murder them.
Yeah.
It's very humorous in a lot of ways, even though he's just murdering his way through the world. Yeah. It is. So he has all these servants and they think he's a god.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't remember exactly what they call him, but one of the like originals.
Yeah.
Right? They kind of know that there were people that were separate from them that were in charge.
Yeah.
And he's like the last one left.
Right.
There are a few others that show up, other people that got stuck in the game. It's very uncommon, though, and we don't really know too much about them at this stage, even though there's been 4 seasons. But he's trying to give off this air of godhood, but there's always the internal dialogue that he has of like, I'm just some random dude that got stuck in the game and whatnot, and it got some Eminence and Shadow stuff, or he'll just make up some stuff.
That's what I was about to say.
And all the other
shadowy.
and all his little like minions will just be like, oh, you're so smart, you're the best that's ever been. It's just really interesting to see like the main character be a legit villain, like just straight evil on the spectrum. Like just it's really crazy and really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Overlord.
Sounds like a good time.
Definitely one of the top 10 like isekais of all time. Yeah, a must watch if you're getting into the isekai genre.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Up there with Tanya the Evil and Konosuba and stuff like that.
You said there's 4 seasons with a 5th coming?
There's 4 seasons with a 5th coming, and there's a movie that just came out, but it's not kind of easily obtainable yet.
Nice.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right.
For that. I do have a news item, though.
You have some news.
Yes, it has been declared that Bob Odenkirk has begun filming Nobody 2.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
Hopefully it doesn't kill him.
Oh.
Like the last one almost did.
Oh, man, that is...
I don't know where they go. They kind of wrapped up and Nobody won.
Yeah.
I don't know where they pick up from there.
Who knows? But, man, I'm ready. Let's see. Bob Odenkirk. We got Connie Nielsen. Christopher Lloyd's in it.
Well, yeah, he was in the first one.
Sharon Stone.
He played the dad.
Hanks. Yeah. All right. Nobody else listed. Okay.
Sharon Stone and Nobody too?
Yeah, Sharon Stone.
Oh, man. What's she going to do?
And
she's going to be the bad guy
Colin
for sure.
Hanks. You know, Tom Hanks' son.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, man. I am ready for this. It's August 2025. Okay, so a year from now.
It's gonna take some time. Like I said, it just started filming.
Yeah. That's some good news. That's some real good news. I also have some news, Robert. My news is less. I don't know if I'd say good. More random. And I honestly, part of me thinks it's bad news, just because of what this is about. So here's the headline: Jonathan Majors, joining Lionsgate's Naruto live-action movie. It's one of the most OP characters that everyone once wanted Dwayne Johnson to play. And I'm just like, there's a lot in this headline.
That's a lot of pieces. Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Naruto.
Yep.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
What would Jonathan Majors even play?
So they want him to play the fourth Rage Con or whatever. Basically, I'm not sure if you watched Naruto, know how the tailed beast, the one that Naruto meets, the like rapping one who's like,
okay,
yeah, his brother who runs
the octopus guy.
Yeah, the octopus guy. So his older brother who's in charge of the village that he's from.
Boy, that's a very minor role.
That's who they want Jonathan Majors to play.
He's Jonathan Minors now.
Yeah, apparently.
He's trying to like just creak that door open. It's like, you guys gonna let me back in?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna let me back in?
I wonder, but here's my thing. Like, so first off, like I said, the first thing that's the elephant in the room is a freaking another anime live action, and I'm a big fan of Naruto. I've always enjoyed Naruto.
Didn't we already have like a Naruto live action? But this seems like this is gonna be like an American thing.
Yeah, but no, I don't think there's never been a Naruto live action yet.
We'll see. I don't know. Did you ever watch the One Piece live action?
I need to.
It's really good.
See, the issue, because that's what I've heard, is that
gives me hope for future.
I've heard that the One Piece live action was good.
Yeah.
The problem is I've never been a fan of One Piece in general, so I'm just like
I've tried so many times, cannot get into it.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, just the fact that they're making a Naruto live action, like I would want it to be good because I like Naruto, but also I'm just like, where do you even come in? Like I think it's kind of the same thing that happened with, this was Abomination, but the thing that happened with Dragon Ball Z is because Dragon Ball Z spans these large sagas, so you have, and so like, where do you come in? Yeah, do you come in the beginning, but then people are gonna be like, cool, we get to see Goku fight Radish, but I really want to see him fight Cell. And so, or do you come in the middle, but then people are like, why not be? And so I think what they did with Dragon Ball is like, well, we can't really just pick a point, so we'll make our own split off story. And I feel the same way about Naruto. It's like, well, there's lots of things in Naruto. Like they're talking about the Rage Con, which means that's farther down the line after the tailed beast is a lot more out. So I'm like, so we're skipping over all of early Naruto, but there's some good stuff that happens. You got to
assume that the people that are going into your it's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
Because there's two ways you do it. Either you just don't do any exposition, and you just assume everyone going to see your live action Naruto movie knows who Naruto is.
Yeah.
Knows
the story.
Knows what's going on and can just jump in. Mm-hmm. Or you're gonna have to do a whole lot of voiceover at the beginning explaining where you're at, and that always is terrible.
That's always terrible. And yeah. So like I'm just like, where are they, like you said, how are they doing? Because there's a part of me that's scared that since they are at this point in the story, that they might do like you said, where they're like, well, we gotta get everybody caught up. And I'm like, that's just gonna be a train wreck. You're gonna rush through like the first 1/3 to half of Naruto in
like the entire like Junyuan exam.
Yeah, the Junyuan
which was
exam.
Like huge, like where he fights Sand Dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing. Also, by skipping over, I was like, I would love to see a live action Naruto versus Gaara. That would be fantastic, And there's also
this is going to be a movie when it needs to be a series.
Yeah. So there's that.
Anyway, One Piece starts at the beginning. And it's fantastic. Yeah.
And they're probably doing more. But One Piece is a series. Also, they're doing.
Dude, they could keep if they kept up with it, which I don't think they are because it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. I think Netflix does.
Yeah, Netflix did One Piece.
Like I'm like they're not gonna put out 1,000 episodes.
That's what I'm about to say. It's like if they all. That's other part. Like even if Netflix wanted to keep it with, it's like, do they have so much to cut? Because One Piece
make
is
this
still
for the next 100 years.
It's still going. It's still freaking going.
On,
it's
like,
the longest running anime.
Like on issue 1100 or something.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But One Piece. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just, and then like I said, Jonathan Majors, fantastic actor.
Yeah,
fantastic actor. So, like, can he play the role? Probably going to kill it.
Yeah.
Are people going to be ready to accept him back playing a role? I don't know. Especially
nobody's going to care.
Yeah,
nobody's going to care.
I hope so.
The other actors and Hollywood people have done much worse.
True. Yeah. But
he's gonna act circles around everyone else in the movie. Whenever he's on screen, he's gonna just chew it up.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Do we know other people who are in it?
So they say like there's already some. I gotta find. There's already some stuff. I was looking for a thing, but I couldn't find it because they're saying like fans are already like talking about who they want to play, like Sasuke and Naruto and all that stuff, and I'm just like.
It's got to be kid actors, right?
Yeah, or at least like young adult. Because that's the thing is like the first part of Naruto, he is in his like preteens, and then the second part he's supposed to be in like his later teens, but you could always age him up to like young adult without it being too bad.
I'll tell you what gives me a sliver of hope on this though. The director, Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did Shang-Chi.
Ooh.
So
okay.
Shang-Chi was on that border of like almost anime-ish.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good.
If they give him, whatever that magic for Shang-Chi was.
Oh, this is
if they let that magic happen for Naruto, they could pull something off.
But I'll say another thing he's done that we both like, but it was a producer, but still, he also produced 17 episodes of Tokyo Vice.
Okay,
so he's been around some good stuff.
There you go.
He's been around some good stuff, folks. So hopefully this man knows what he's doing. And he's also set to do the Shang-Chi sequel.
Excellent.
And also do, which is interesting, I didn't know Marvel was doing this, Wonder Man. The Wonder Man series. Apparently,
I don't know who Wonder Man is.
He's like a knockoff Superman for Marvel in a sense.
Okay.
Apparently, the MCU, that's one of their next miniseries is going to be Wonder Man. It's interesting.
That's going to be a show.
Yeah, it's going to be a show. And they got Ben Kingsley in it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's some names here. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
Anyway, so yeah, this guy, I mean, he has been around. He's done some good stuff, and Disney's trusting him with some stuff. So I feel like there's some hope, but it's still an anime becoming live action. And there's
big cojones to take on Naruto, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, there's a lot more examples of these things going terribly wrong than well. So even though One Piece is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clock is right once a century.
Pretty much.
All right, we're going to take a break there. When we come back, we will talk about Supernatural. No. Sure.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I thought we were going to talk about Snowpiercer, but apparently we're pivoting, folks.
All right, let's talk about Supernatural, Season 5, Episode 9, The Real Ghostbusters.
All right.
Superfan Becky uses Chuck's phone to trick Sam and Dean into attending a Supernatural fan convention. Complete with fans dressed as Sam and Dean, one of the activities is a live-action role-playing game. But things quickly turn sour after a real ghost appears on scene. You gotta watch it, Donnell. You gotta watch it, okay? In the show, there are books
about
Sam and Dean.
Right.
And there's a convention for the books that they get tricked into going to. It's fantastic.
So the books are about them, but do the people there know, like when they show up, that they're Sam and Dean, or is it like?
Well, everybody's dressed as Sam or Dean.
Okay.
Or Cass or something, or a number of other characters.
Yeah. Okay, I just wasn't sure if it was one of the things like the characters are based on them, but no one believes that they're the actual Sam and Dean or whatever.
Yeah, everybody thinks that it's just books.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't think there's a real Sam and
so
Dean.
then they think that the Sam and Dean they're like, oh, you guys are just in costume too.
Yeah. Yes, because like they pull out like a fake like FBI badge, and everyone like 5 other people pull out fake FBI badges. And, like, yeah, it's hilarious, and it's not like the books are just like random stories. No, it's like word for word their actual lives. Yeah.
Nice.
Written by a prophet that can channel what they're doing.
That's gotta be.
And just decides to write books about it to make money.
Got to be bizarre and weird just to have all these people being like, man, you read the latest about Sam and Dean, and just like, just like that. We're doing that though. That's us.
Dude, that show gets wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
They go into a TV at one point, and they're like in Scooby Doo.
Okay.
There's another one where they like go to an alternate reality where they're the actors playing them in the show. Like he gets shoved through a window, and then all of a sudden somebody yells "cut."
Yeah.
It's out of control, man. It's out of control. You also need to watch the OA, man. That last episode. Oh, I want another season. Anyway, we're here to talk about Snowpiercer.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, season 4. Season 4, episode 7. A Moth to a Flame.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk to the person who's naming these episodes, dude. I got no idea.
No, I mean,
what the Moth to the Flame.
I mean, it alludes to trap, and I feel like they were like setting up kind of a trap for getting like Big Alice and New Eden, but that wasn't like the main thing where I wouldn't name the episode on it. Like I don't know that whoever is naming this, Maybe that's part of their, they with this being the last season and it being cut and stuff, they ran out of funding, so they had to fire all the people who named episodes. And they just
I feel like they just put the names in a hat, like they named them because there's so many that like make sense in other episodes. I'm like, okay, did they just jumble them up or something, like, and then just like, okay, we forgot which order they were supposed to go in, just put them whatever, nobody's gonna pay attention, except for the guys that are watching the podcast.
We're watching,
we're on you,
crying out loud.
Starts out with an admiral monologue. Admiral 3 years ago, showing us some past, not 9 months ago, which I want to know, but they're kind of like telling us,
they're kind of telling us a little bit.
We find out he was a captain, not originally an admiral,
and that basically he had started doing some human testing.
On the
Gemini. Which I got to be honest, like this admiral, because we get to meet the actual admiral. This is this lady,
which is the lady who's like the head of the people on the restricted floors.
But yeah, this admiral. She doesn't like. I mean, I guess like I said, if it's the end of the world and you don't have that many people, that's why you don't stuff. But the fact that like she doesn't like, she rebukes him and like tells him to stop and kind of like gives him a little bit of a dressing down. But overall, I'm like, man's doing human testing. These are like criminal charges. These are like court martial and in prison in the brig. And she was just like, can't be doing it. I was like, this is going a little easy. It's going a little easy on the dude. But yeah. So he basically like calls him out for it, tells him that he needs to stop, but instead he gets in his hubris that they're saving the world, and this is what's needed to save the world. Sacrifice is needed, and also discovers that his wife. I mean, they were close, but I was like, they could just be friendly close. I don't know. he jumps to the conclusion that his wife is cheating on him.
No, not cheating on him. Turned him in.
I know. Oh, okay. I thought it was both, but turned him in.
Yeah, she either she did or he believes that she is the one who turned him in. Yeah. So he kills her.
Yeah. He basically we find out what happened to why those floors were condemned off. It wasn't an accident. It was that he released the Gemini on everybody who was in there. And his wife died, but the admiral lady does survive somehow. But yeah, and then he goes down there afterwards and grabs her stars, and he's like, now I'm the admiral. Look at me, I'm the admiral. But yeah, so we get to see, like I said, we've all known, but from the beginning we've alluded to like there's some more shadiness going on here than just saving the world.
Well, I want to know like how his troops got infected.
Yeah. Well, I think that might have been through some of the testing, because they kind of like when Nema was talking to him, he kind of alluded to like he was the cause, and so I feel like some of his
but did it happen during this event? I want to see the event where the soldiers
where the soldiers were dosed. Yeah. I mean, my guess is that at some point Nema thought, okay, I got a good strain in Gemini here. Let's give it a test. And then it wasn't as good as he thought, and so that's why we have these messed up soldiers. Yeah. But who knows? Like I said, maybe we will get to see that. But we jump into the episode. Just this whole episode, I've said this so much. My word of advice for everybody in this show, whether it's Leighton, whether it's the Admiral, whether it's Wilfred, I don't care. I'm rooting for Leighton. Obviously, he's the main character, but all of them, just kill your enemies. Just kill your enemies. Yep. Stop it with the elaborate. I mean, we see Wilford do it. We see the general guy do it in this episode. We see Leighton do it in this episode, and all the time it's like, just kill him. Just pull the trigger. You don't need to have some elaborate talk or some elaborate way to kill him. Just kill him. That's my advice for the episode.
Not even this show.
Yeah, I mean, just in all shows, but this episode was just so blatant because it happened multiple times in the same episode where each of them had a chance to be rid of one of their enemies, and it was like, but what if I did it? Or what if I did it some elaborate way, instead of just, I got a gun, but what if I didn't use the gun?
Yep. Anyway, so Mel.
Yes.
Finally shows back up.
Mel returns.
Jennifer Connelly's in the budget.
So. And I mean, it looks like she's not Nema. This is jump to the end. Nema does say when you wake up, so it looks like she's just knocked out. But I thought for 1 second that they were going to kill Mel in this episode, and like they had just enough money for one more Mel episode, so they brought her back, had her say some stuff, and they ended her. But now it sounds like she'll probably be here for the rest of the season.
By the way, this whole plan of like we're just gonna hide that Leighton and Alex and stuff are here by just avoiding the conversation. I'm like, then you got to lock them all up.
Yeah,
you guys have Alex just wander in the halls.
Yeah,
which is where they literally run into each other just by chance in the halls.
I mean, I think that is for the Admiral is she went down to the 3rd floor where Leighton and them are, and they then deactivated her badge or Nema's badge. So I think that he thought she was trapped down there.
Fair enough.
But still, I was like, you got to go through. Like Alex has been working on stuff, and like things like there had to be a piece of paper, but I feel like even like what is it?
Her smell.
Yeah,
would be in the room.
I feel like Mel could recognize her handiwork. Also,
yeah.
Like they're both very what is it? Detail oriented engineers. Yeah. So I feel like Mel could be like, wait a second, this kind of looks like something Alex would do and stuff. So yeah,
I don't feel like Alex would just randomly draw a bird.
Yeah.
I guess that's her notes about the bird.
Her notes. Yeah, maybe she doodled the bird in there to sew something.
Fair enough. But I don't understand that Alex is able to just walk around freely.
Everyone
like during the panic, like
able to. Even Leighton and what's her face at one point, and even freaking Mel after it's like kind of clear that both Nema and the Admiral don't want her free. Like so many Wilford even. Like I know Wilford kind of has a little bit different because some of the soldiers.
This isn't just like a place. This is a military base.
All the people who are like public enemy number one. Like he even was like, don't let Mel or Leighton on this train. 2 scenes later, they're both just casually walking through the place and hopping on the train. I'm just like, what is going on? What is going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we Mel gets there. The Admiral kind of heads her off and be like, oh, we need you to, get your research stuff notes because Nema needs it to kind of keep her busy. And we cut to Wilford and Leighton, who are really in the truth to the point that Leighton lets Wilford go off with Alex alone. Like, he's like, you watch the door, and Leighton's like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I feel like this is like Leighton's too trusting in some way. I mean, he's not, but he is. Because I when it comes to Wilford, I'm just like, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Yeah, like at all. So when he's like, me and Alex are going over here to talk, I'd be like, no. No. And I honestly thought, I mean, it turns out he wasn't betraying Leighton. I don't know how to really look at it, but overall, I thought he was like going to be like, when he was finding a way for Alex to escape because he's always planning something. I thought like he was truly like using Alex's escape as something else, but I mean, it looked like he truly just wanted to get Alex out of there.
We gotta stop with this air vent business. We really gotta stop. Okay, they're dirty and nasty on the inside.
And they're
you wouldn't
way
fit.
More cramped. There's so many fans and grates in there. Like
they are not designed to handle the weight.
Exactly. It's Die Hard's fault. Yeah, man.
They're also loud as hell. Mm-hmm. If you try,
you can't sneak through the air
metal.
Vents. It's gonna no. It's
you can't even look at a piece of sheet metal without making a racket.
Mm-hmm. Like yeah. But no, in the world, I mean, that's one of the things, there's certain things that we just accept in TV, even though we know 100% that is not how it works. And air vents are just one of those things. Like, it's just like, no.
The worst is Mission Impossible, where I'm like, why would you even build an air vent big enough for a human to go through? Yeah. That goes to your secret room.
Yeah. There should never be anything big enough for a human to go through other than the door that you have constantly monitored and locked down. There should be nothing big enough for a human to get into that room. So Wilford actually, for once in his life, I mean, I guess it's always been alluded to that he genuinely in some way cares about Alex. Like,
well, to use her to some degree. But there's a weird sadistic father-daughter dynamic going on there for sure.
Mm-hmm. But he gets her out of there because he doesn't want her in harm's way when the soldiers come down. And down the soldiers do come, which I feel like it's weird that, like, I know that they said, we'll be able to take them one on one because we control the doors. But I feel like it was very strange that when he opened the elevator door, there was, like, just one standing in there. I felt like, I don't know, get the crew down and stuff. But Leighton is able to fight this dude off. And so this old Admiral lady, not the current dude, but the old Admiral lady, I can't figure out her thing. Like, she shows up when they're, like, setting up the doors. And, like, what are you doing? And Wilford's like, well, if we control the doors, we can pick them off one at a time, yada yada. And then she disappears, and then she conveniently shows up again to close the doors, but doesn't stick around. She just leaves. And I'm like, what's your deal?
Yeah.
And also like,
she's an odd character.
yeah, she's odd, and also like, she's not the only one down there. Like,
Yeah.
there was a group of people, so I'm like, what's all like? We haven't seen the rest of them since the very first time where there was that raid or whatever. But so I'm like, what you guys do? Like, what's the plan? What you do?
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously some revolt happening in this place. You've been trapped down here. You have two guys. One of them is despicable, but you have two guys who suddenly showed up who seem capable of getting you out of there, and they seem very much just like, nah.
Well, they've been down there 3 years.
We'll
They
see
kind
how-
of given up. They're
I
just
guess.
yeah. New Steve, same as old Steve.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's getting out.
Yeah, I guess.
Everybody who shows up, they're always the first few months they're trying to get out, and they'll accept it
Just
eventually.
saying, these two are doing a lot more work than I think most of them were.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
So I don't like the sound attack thing he does.
Yeah.
Seems kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I don't get how it'd work.
I mean,
unless they had like told us like all the soldiers have super hearing or
super
something.
hearing now, yeah, and stuff. And it also doesn't work for that long. Like it does incapacitate them for like 10 seconds, but then they start getting up and shooting. And I was like, was that worth it? I feel like you and I put a lot of work into building this thing. I was expecting a little more. But I guess it doesn't incapacitate him long enough because Leighton, after he, like I said, so one guy came down, Leighton beats him up, and they close the elevator. And then the second time, they send multiple guys, which is what you should have done the first time. But anyways, but because of that first guy Leighton took out, he got a grenade. And so he blows open one of the doors to the stairwell.
Yep. We get a brief side scene of New Eden.
Yep.
Where they're kind of like talking about what they're going to do. And they found some bombs, and they wanted to check the bridge to see if there's bombs on the bridge. And they say the line, we should consolidate everyone into a few cars to preserve power. And my question is the same as your question, Donnell.
Yep.
Why was this not done already?
I just cannot understand. Well, they're like, maybe we should try this. Maybe we should consolidate. That's what you're saying. I was like, well, you said it should already be done, and also
as soon as Big Alice left.
Maybe it's right this moment.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, you're running low. Like, they very much tell us a little bit later, like they're basically out of power, which they make it seem. I mean, like I said, I guess if you can't get Big Alice across the bridge, then you know you're stuck there. But overall, it's like they make it seem like they're going to be in dire straits. But it's like, Big Alice is like right over there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, worst comes to worst, and this is something that we actually see Till.
Well, they don't know that yet. Big Alice hasn't arrived yet.
But yeah, but once they do, we're like, oh, I don't know, we got to figure this out soon because they're almost out of power. I'm like, even if you don't, like, I'm sure everyone can bundle together and wrap up and consolidate, like use body heat to warm each other for long enough. Like, I feel like like I said, if you don't know Big Alice is there, then like, yeah, this is dire straits. But if you know once they know that Big Alice is just across the bridge, even if there are bombs, I'm like, I would not be concerned. I mean, yeah, we gotta bundle up. And also, worst comes to worst. I mean, I know it sucks, but if you can't get the bombs deactivated, guess what? Everybody can go to Big Alice.
Yep.
Just like there's just easy solution. It's just everybody go over there to the trade.
Well, you got to do the bio cars. You got to get the agro cars.
Yeah, true. Losing.
But no, as soon as Big Alice was leaving, it's like, okay, you shut down everything, including the bar.
Yeah.
The tavern.
The tavern
that you got. But no, yeah, everybody's sleeping in the food car.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and those are the only things that have power.
That's the only things running.
Yeah. And it doesn't even seem like you need that because, like, Oz just living up on the mountain in a tent.
Yeah.
You don't need to heat everything.
Yeah. I mean,
need the power.
Oz seems fine.
Yeah.
Want to point out, and I'm wondering when we get to see him again. I mean, hopefully we do, but still no news on Roach. What's going on with Roach?
What do you mean? Roach is around. Oh, no, yeah,
No.
right. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
he was disappeared. I'm assuming he got captured.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
But I want to know where Bogey?
Oh, yeah. We have no explanation of what happened to Bogey.
Is that his name? Bogey?
Yeah. Or it's Boogie or Bogey. It's something like that.
Yeah, the big guy.
The big guy.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's a good character. And he just
been gone. Last time we saw him was when he went off to get Alex's bird, and that was it. And then obviously the bird was returned at some point, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got captured too. We'll find that out. But that also is kind of sad too if he's been captured this whole time because it's like everybody noticed when Roach was gone.
Yeah,
Bogey goes missing. People are like, oh yeah, that guy. But yeah, so yeah, New Eden's trying to figure out what to do about the bombs. While Big Alice has made it there, they get radio contact. We get a little bit of, and so I think I said this when this relationship first developed. I'm not against this relationship. I just feel like, and I guess maybe end of the world circumstances, maybe you don't waste time. I just have always felt like the relationship between Till and Audrey just came out of nowhere. And suddenly now they're like just the most passionate about each other. And I'm just like, where'd this come from? Like, they never built to this. It was just one day they were two separate characters, and the next day they're like, "Oh, we're in love, like soulmates." And I was just like, "Where'd this come?" But yeah,
Can you imagine though if like you're on a side note about her Audrey is like you've got your record is one of the only records existing in the world.
Yeah,
I mean I'm sure there's in a frozen tomb somewhere. Records and stuff like that, but like in use.
You have the one and only.
You're one of the most listened to. You're the most listened to recorded artist in the current era.
Yep. But yeah, so Till is having a hard time, knowing that Audrey's right there, but can't go to her. And we get Javi, which I kind of agree, and I guess we'll find in the next episode if he was right or wrong. But we get Javi out there who's looking at the bombs. He's like, I think I can disarm that. I will say his example of what he's disarming, I know he meant it as a joke, but when he's like, I fixed my dad's grill, I can probably handle this. I'm like, I don't know if a grill and a bomb are the same thing, Javi. But I would say, like you said last week, why didn't I asked why didn't Oz do something about the bombs?
Yeah,
and you were like, well, because Oz. I'm like, okay, well, Javi. I feel like if there is anybody like the engineer who's helped manage one of the last most, probably like honestly, I mean, this immortal engine is insane.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I feel like I'd give him a stab at the bomb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does at the very end.
Yeah.
Try to disarm one,
and
doesn't really. But I guess we'll find out in the next.
Yeah,
episode.
I was about to say we don't know what happened.
I think he cleared the track.
Yeah, I think.
But no, they're clearly like set up with booby traps that if you try and disarm them, they're gonna go off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, I still need motivation for why they want to destroy New Eden.
I can't figure that out. Why they want to destroy New Eden at
I mean,
all.
look, I can put a lot of stuff on it, like they're fascists and they don't want anybody who's not part of the New World Order to exist. But tell me that.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
And also, like, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And
I mean, these just look like test subjects to me. Don't kill them. Use them. They're a resource.
Yep.
They're slave labor.
At the end of the world, when you have so few people, you got to really look at. You can't just be. Can't just be getting rid of people.
Leighton gets Liana. Mel finds out that Ben is dead.
Look, real quick with Leighton and getting Liana scene, because he gets what's her face first, and I think that annoys me, and that's kind of this whole episode.
I love how Josie's just fighting in the hallway.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like when Leighton shows up, Josie is already fighting her way free, and I'm like, really? Like, what? Why hasn't she done this already? Why is it just now? Same with like even when Alex and Mel bump into each other. Like it's also this episode had a lot of happenstance where it's like, oh, it just happens to be like right when Leighton goes to save her. I mean, Josie happens to be fighting her way out.
I don't like the Alex Mel bump in, but I kind of like the Josie thing where like she's got her own thing going on independently and he just walks into the middle of it.
I guess my thing is why now? Why hasn't this?
That is a coincidence.
Already happened. Yeah. That's my thing.
Well, there's a lot of other stuff going down.
True.
There's less military. The military is like more focused on another function.
Yeah.
And so maybe she saw that as an opportunity, but they don't tell us that. So.
One thing that happened during his meetup with Josie, that it was kind of like just a passing comment, but I wonder if it's going to lead to more, because they already alluded to this, that Josie, because of the treatment, has been losing her feeling.
Yeah.
In her body, because Leighton literally says you're bleeding. She's like, oh, I am. And so I'm wondering if they're gonna basically reveal like she has no more feeling it. Like she was kind of like losing it but had it. But I'm wondering if like because they've been doing a lot, because they also said they've been doing a lot more treatments to her. I'm wondering
if she lose all her feeling when she first became the Ice Queen, but then they were working on giving it back to her with new treatments.
Maybe that was it. But I'm wondering if it's gone now because of all the tests she's been done. Because just the fact that it was just like a passing comment, but still Leighton's like, you're bleeding, and she just completely didn't even. She's like, oh, I am, and I was like, So yeah. But yeah, Leighton does get Liana back. It makes sense because the guy was right there with a gun. These soldiers and their loyalty, is so weird. Because like I feel like they'd be loyal to the admiral, but Hedgewood seems to have enough authority to like. The admiral is like Leighton, public enemy number one. I just feel like these soldiers would be like, Leighton, shoot. Like, it doesn't matter if Hedgewood's like, don't shoot him. I just feel like the soldier would shoot him. Same with
I feel like Wilford has been put up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
By these soldiers.
But not Leighton.
No, but Hedgewood, right, is like
his number two. In
yeah,
a sense.
like Wilford would be like, "This is my girl."
Yeah,
you know.
but everyone, I mean, it's not like Wilford and Leighton are friends too. But yeah, maybe because
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, there's also like Nema seems to have like some of the soldiers that are willing to listen to him, and like so I'm just like that like this. What I will say is, this admiral has not been minding his soldiers well. To see
correct,
how much
correct,
divide there are some who are willing to listen to Nema, some who are willing to listen to freaking Hedwood, some that are listening to Wilford. I'm like, dude, you have lost. You have lost control.
Yeah.
Like, when your soldiers are this divided, you have lost control. But yeah, so speaking of the admiral, though, Wilford, he captures Wilford because Wilford just walks into the train brazenly after being banished to the 3rd floor, and maybe this was his plan. Maybe that was it. But after being banished to the 3rd floor, Wilford just thinks he can just walk onto the train and everything's going to be cool.
I thought he was just going to silver tongue his way. He thought he was going to silver tongue his way out.
Maybe.
He didn't think what was going to happen.
The admiral
was
going to be there,
happen.
yeah. But yeah, so the admiral captures him, and then we, like I said, once again, we get next scene where it's just like, just shoot him. Just shoot him. But nope, he takes Wilford down and wants to freeze him to death. I'm like, why?
Yeah, this is a weird way to kill somebody.
Just kill him. But it turns out Wilford, as we've already kind of all known, has been getting the cold treatments, and he is also a cold man now. I will say, I feel like if the world is so cold that, you know, you walk being out in it for any amount of time without a chute can just jack you up and kill you, and you are wearing a chute to go outside, that little NOS on the back of the helmet is like triple release.
Yeah.
Like you gotta do like a bunch of work. Like you can't just pull that NOS off.
Well, I don't understand this, right? Because as soon as the admiral realizes that he's not going to freeze, which by the way he starts to freeze,
he does,
and then it reverses, which makes no sense.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
But then the admiral's like, "Oh crap!" and then tries to run.
Yeah, and
run slowly. I'm like, "No, you
have a gun,
a military dude with a gun. You can take out Wilford."
Mm-hmm. Wilford is a older man.
He didn't get the super serum.
No.
He got the freezy serum.
Exactly. That was the other thing, is I was like, really, this is how he's going? I thought for one second when Wilford started taking off his helmet, because this admiral has been, I knew he wasn't going to be the end all be. I mean, it's of course it's going to be Wilford, but the end all be all villain.
Or Nema.
It might be Nema, yeah, now. But still, he's been a pretty big, for him to go out so easily was surprising for me.
This was an unexpected, like, very muted death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's not a character. It's a character we just got introduced to.
Still,
you know,
introduced as like a big
bad.
bad.
They did make him the big bad. Yeah,
I'm just like, you know, he got his first voiceover this episode, Robert. But yeah, no, I thought for one second when Wilford was taking off his helmet that like he was going to take off his helmet and like reveal somebody else for a second. Like I thought that they were going to do the old bait and switch, but nope, it was him, and he's dead.
And then Nema takes charge.
Yeah, Nema takes charge, and at first,
which is out of character for.
Yeah,
he's always been kind of like a squirmy guy, and now he's just like full on Bond villain.
Yeah, and this when Nema's taking charge happens while Leighton finds Wilford boarding the train. And Leighton has once again just shoot him, but Leighton has him at gunpoint, and Wilford talks him into let me smoke this cigarette that will kill me. Which I'm like, sure, it's gonna kill you. But anyways, during that, basically Wilford, you know, exposes that Nema is the actual villain, and basically says it's a thing of pride with him, which I can kind of understand. But like I said, it just seems so out of character and kind of left field for Nema to be the villain, which is another reason I think Wilford will be alive.
If they had showed us that he was pretending at some point, then I would accept it. But it's just
who knows? Maybe next episode we'll start with a Nema voiceover and we'll get a flashback of him, you know, doing some evil shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we find out that he did do the evil stuff.
Yeah.
He's the reason
they already
that the
alluded
atmosphere is messy. They did.
Because that was my thing. Is like they do it like it's this big reveal. And it would have been a great big reveal, except that they've already, like, they multiple times between him and the Admiral and stuff, just said things that's like, oh, like, we've already said multiple times, like, I think Nema was the guy who caused it.
Killed the world,
Yeah. And so then they reveal, like, Nema was the guy who caused it. And it's like, he probably should have buried the lead better. Like,
I mean, we find out that Gemini is eroding the atmosphere and releasing radiation into the world.
Yeah.
But Nema's hell-bent on releasing it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a case kind of like, Wilford says it's pride, but I also think it's kind of like the thing of like a little bit also of like he sees it as he's ruined the world And so he has to, I mean, it's still a pride thing, but also like I think it's like a pride mixed with guilt. Also, like he also sees like this is all my fault, so I have to fix it. Like,
well, I mean, so they talk about like that he invented Gemini 15 years ago.
Yeah,
which is longer than the freeze.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that he froze the planet to prove that Gemini would do a thing. I think that's his crazy.
Okay, maybe
like he caused the freeze so that way he could be the savior and reverse it.
Okay,
that's my theory.
Interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah. So Nema knocks out Mel. I thought, like I said, I thought she was going to have her killed. I thought like, yeah, I guess that's all the money they had for Jennifer Connelly was one more episode. But no, she's just knocked out. Alex is driving the train without knowing that her mom's knocked out, and Leighton supposedly. Oh no, that's I didn't even think about that. Wilford's not even on the train. I forgot about that.
Is it?
Remember,
he not on the train?
Remember at the end of it, because we're about to wrap up this episode. But remember that this episode ends with Leighton.
No, he's on the train.
No,
unless he dragged him off.
No, they're not connected to Big Alice. Remember, this episode ends with Leighton basically like they hear another noise and they find one of the soldier guys disconnecting their cards. Yeah. I'm wondering how that's going to play. I mean, technically, I was like, when that scene happened, I was like, technically everybody but Leighton would be okay in the cold.
Yeah.
Like they're all cold. Liana, and Josie and Wilford if he's not dead, which I really don't think he's dead. So I'm like, Leighton's the only person who's screwed right now.
And there's no power for those cars.
Yeah,
they're gonna get real cold,
they're gonna get real cold real fast. So yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen to Leighton. Like I said, the other three are perfectly fine. But
maybe he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Next episode they're all gonna leave him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they have to make that sacrifice. Yeah.
Or they're going to do something stupid like a blood transfusion somehow.
No.
So that way Leighton gets cold powers.
No.
It's going to happen now, Donnell.
No.
I can see it.
No.
You know it to be true.
This season has been going so well. And I will admit this episode was a little rocky, but I still have high hopes. They don't do that. Don't do. Why'd you say that?
More speculation. Javi really stepped up this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ruth is going to die and he's going to become mayor.
Okay. Yeah.
Something to that. Somehow he's going to end up mayor. I don't know if Ruth's going to die.
Yeah.
But I expect Ruth will die.
Yeah. I mean, the people we have left, I'm like, I could see Leighton dying in the hopefully not next episode, but I could see Leighton dying, as he sees his daughter off, and you got to have that, father giving his life. I think I could see Mel dying too. I
don't think Mel's going to die.
You don't think Mel's going to die?
No.
I kind of see it. Ruth is an interesting one. I mean, I'm pretty sure Till is good. I think she's safe. Her and Audrey are going to have a reunion. They get to be happy.
Boki,
yeah. Boki's probably already dead. You think Roach is going to come back? You think he's going to survive, come back? And live on?
I think we're going to see him again.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. To see how this all wraps up. We're getting there.
Three more episodes.
But
they're starting to make moves.
Yes, they are.
I'm feeling less hopeful about getting the 9-month flashback.
Yeah,
I feel like let us.
They're gonna just kind of keep sprinkling in a little bit of knowledge as we go. But yeah. Oh, actually, real quick, even though this is way at the beginning, it does answer some questions for us. We do see that they did have some sort of vehicle that could travel in the snow at the beginning of this when Mel is coming back. But I guess we shouldn't have been surprised by seeing as he went off and stuff. But yeah, that does answer a lot of questions of like how were they able to get Wilford, how were they able to build the track and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, they've had vehicles, they've had that sort of stuff. They just didn't have no train that can travel as far. So yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's the episode.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchingitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchingitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, speaking of the website, probably if you do check it out, probably going to be seeing some changes on there soon. We're kind of thinking of some new things we can try and stuff. So if you're a fan of the podcast, definitely just stay tuned and look. We're going to be
big changes,
making some changes. Might be trying some different episode types and episode formats. Different stuff to look forward to. Hopefully some more guests. So be on the lookout for all that and give us any rating reviews. 5 stars. Thanks for listening. Bye.